running. So that was weird. Yeah, sorry about that. Looks like I had some mic issues, but we should be back up and running now. Yeah, so we're good to go. Anyways, just wanted to hop on and basically just chit-chat, hang out with you guys. Got a little bit of time I wanted to set aside this weekend to live stream, say hello to everybody, kind of share a couple things as far as what I've been working on. Hey, what's up, John? Good to see you. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit as far as things I've been working on, things that are going to be coming, videos that I have been editing, and also just kind of good. Glad the audio works now. Sorry about that. That was weird. Yeah, it was, I guess the default selections for my mic, I'm using a different mic, and my laptop is like over there, and I think there was some weird stuff as far as it was selecting the wrong one, and I had no idea, so I apologize. But back up and running. So anyways, just wanted to share, I guess, while everybody's joining in and all that stuff, and I'm waiting for my I'm drinking tea today instead of coffee just because it was quicker and easier to make, and I'm still feeling a little asleep. But anyway, so things that I've been working on lately. In my car, I've been running the Escort IXC, that radar detector. I kind of showed it a little bit the other day doing the best mid-tiers video. I didn't have an IX on hand, so I kind of held up the IXC as like a stand-in. And so I've been running that one. Kind of gave my initial thoughts on that one. It's cool to have, you know, the Wi-Fi and everything like the 360C without having to pay for that detector. Less range, BSM filtering is not as good, and you don't have arrows and whatnot. But, you know, Escort is really pushing, it looks like, their whole connected car thing. So I'll do a video just kind of talking about that detector. Let's see. I also, for range, yeah, so the range on that one should be a little bit better than the IX. I don't plan on going out and doing a test specifically for that detector. I'd like to kind of focus on some other ones, like, speaking of which, for Black Friday, I guess they had a deal on the Solo S4, and I've always just kind of wanted a wireless detector just because I thought it would be funny, like if I'm going for a run or something, I can have a radar detector in my pocket, and yay, I've got a detector on me. So silly stuff like that. And I've never actually had a cordless detector, so I figured I could test it out just to see, and I haven't really done any videos having one on hand, so I figured I'd get one. It was cheap, and probably sell it when I'm done. But again, just to like actually try one and play with one. It's always helpful to have the detector on hand versus just kind of reading spec sheets and looking at other people's test results and stuff. And so I would like to do a test. I think it would be cool to actually pit that guy against like the R3 and the Pro M and Max 360 and all this other just stuff, you know? So that could be just a fun one to do. So that's there. Yes, and you're welcome. I'm glad you guys took advantage of those, like all the Black Friday deals too on the R3. There were a whole bunch of them, so it's really cool. So I've got that one. The next video that I've been working on this past week, which should be finishing up this coming week, I'll be able to get it done hopefully like maybe Monday or Tuesday. I just need a couple extra clips while I'm talking about something. I need to get the B-roll to show what I'm doing. Is the best dash cams on the market video. That one was a collaboration with Black Box My Car, the guys up in Canada. So I drove up there, I met up with their CEO, and we did a collaboration talking about the best dash cams from VFO, Thinkware, Blackview, a bunch of different manufacturers, different price points, single channel versus dual channel, all that kind of stuff. So that video I'm almost done with. It's a long video. It's about 45 minutes long. We go into a lot of discussion and detail, and there's debates, there's discussion on battery packs and parking mode, different systems, all that kind of stuff. So we go into quite a bit of information here. So that's a pretty big video that I've been working on. And there's like 4 or 5 other videos that I did with him as a collaboration that I also want to get to. Speaking of which, I have a big giveaway that I'm going to be announcing this next coming week. Still have 1 or 2 manufacturers I'm hearing back as far as what they want to enter in, but we pretty much have the best of everything. The best radar detectors from Retenso, from Uniden. We've got Escort radar detectors. We've got an ALP to give away. We've got the Blackview DR900S. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. I've got RDF tumblers. A couple of you guys on RDF sent me some, so I've got those to give away. Big thanks to you guys. So this is going to be like the biggest giveaway I've ever done, and I'm super excited to get everything put together and let you guys know about it. So that I'm planning on actually announcing this coming week. This week, it's Sunday now. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, at some point I'll shoot a video and let you guys know about that. So that's definitely something I'm excited about. People always want to know, how do you enter? Don't worry, I'll announce it. There'll be a YouTube video. I'll post it on Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff, Instagram. So I'll definitely let you guys know. It'll be on my website. So I'll have the information out, and it's super easy to enter. So a lot of prizes. I know a bunch of people enter, so I always like getting a bunch of prizes just to give you guys more opportunities to win cool stuff. So I'm definitely pretty excited about that one. So let's see, dash cam stuff, new videos. And then after that, I'm really wanting to get a lot of the current stuff that's on my plate finished. So I've got a lot of radar detectors that I want to test and review. I want to take a look at the Owl Cam. I've got the VFO A119, A119S, and A119 Pro. I'm still thinking about doing like a dedicated video just on that. Maybe something pretty quick. I'm trying to kind of simplify the video so that I can do more of them. Still like have good content and everything, but it can take a lot of time to make the video. So I'm trying to speed up my video creation process to get more stuff out to you guys. So I guess just kind of some behind the scenes stuff. But anyway, looks like you guys are wondering all sorts of things in the live chat. So let's see what you guys are wondering about. Should I only put a black view in my like DR750S2 channel, or should I get SD card? Maybe you can clarify that question, Plato. Let's see. Asked all the time. Yes, Mr. the Bomber. What's the best radar detector for around or below 300 bucks? Mostly city driving. It's funny that you asked because I actually just posted that exact video on my channel. Mr. the Bomber. It was like this video. DFR9 is discounted at $299, and yeah, just take a look at my YouTube channel. I literally just did that video this week. So Escort IX, which you can get at Costco now for $250. I was there this weekend. I know some of you guys mentioned it, and they have it there. Uniden R1. DFR7 if you can get it on sale. The Redenso ones are a little bit over 300 XP. That's a good choice. So there's a lot of good options. So just take a look at my channel. I actually just covered that one, so good timing. Let's see. Oh, should I only put in an SD card made from Blackview? Not necessarily. So a lot of manufacturers. Okay, so I'd actually spoken with the manufacturers about this when I was at SEMA. It's a good question. Should you use the manufacturer's branded SD card in your dash cam? So here's kind of the story behind that. There's a lot of crappy memory cards, and a lot of the issues that arise in dash cams when it comes to reliability, all this kind of stuff can actually be attributed to low quality memory cards, and that causes problems in the dash cams. And so a lot of the dash cam manufacturers will want to make their own memory cards that are specifically tailored for their dash cams that they have tested and confirmed they're reliable and work well. That doesn't always mean that the cards are going to be perfect. I mean, I've had a Blackview card that failed on me. Like, they're not perfect either, but they are designed to really help improve the reliability of the dash cam. And sometimes they'll even say things like, the warranty is only valid if you use our memory card. And you could argue, is that just there to get you to buy their memory card, which is usually more expensive than, a third-party one. And so you can make an argument either way. There are reasons to do it. Personally, I just look for a dash cam, like a memory card that's designed. Get an MLC card. There's different technologies used for it. You want one that is specifically designed that'll say high endurance or made for dash cams, because memory cards have different purposes. Some are designed for just like you store MP3s for your phone or something, you write it once and every now and then you're accessing the files. So periodic storage is really different than a dash cam, which is constantly writing. So whether it's a security camera, a dash cam, something that's constantly in use, it's a lot more aggressive and hard on a memory card. So you want a memory card that's designed for dash cam specific purposes. And they do cost a little bit more than your cheapy ones. And that's why. So be aware of that. Just look for a dash cam specific one, or you can get the one that's branded by the manufacturer, whether it's VFO or Thinkware or Blackview or whoever. You don't have to do it. I run a mix of manufacturer ones and third-party ones. And for me, they're all working fine. I've got some Samsung ones that I'm using currently. Some other brand that I forget the name of off the top of my head, begins with the T. I don't know. So some other ones, there's a bunch of ones. SanDisk, that's a concern. A lot of times there are fakes posted online. So that's something to look out for. But if you want to be safe, you can always get the manufacturer branded one. You don't have to. But yeah, even though they are more expensive. So that's kind of the story. Transcend, I think that's the one. Yeah, thank you. I use some Transcend ones. Those are fine. Yeah, there's a lot of options that are out there. So Ghost Hunter, do you feel that K-band filtering is stronger on 1.37 than 1.46? It's interesting. I haven't gone back to 1.37 to test it out myself. I've just kind of been playing with other detectors, the Redensos, the Escorts, the Uniden DFR9, Uniden says there isn't a change. We've seen some testing that there isn't a change. I know a lot of you guys on the forums have been testing. Some of you guys have said that there is a difference, especially with the TSF. That has changed. And so, it would be nice to have 1.37 version of TSF for those of you guys who don't need the actual traffic sensor filtering. You can get better filtering with 1.37 with TSF enabled. And so that's an option for you if you don't need the KA band lockouts or the MRCD stuff, $134 for a Blackview branded card. Yeah, that's expensive. And it's funny, there's not a ton of margin on those cards either. So they're expensive, but there's not a lot of markup there, surprisingly. And I guess that's weird. I'm not totally sure how some of the other manufacturers are doing it cheaper, but that's not where a ton of the markup it's being made, oddly enough. But yeah, they are expensive. So maybe they're smaller batches or different technology or something, but there's not a ton of markup in there from what I understand. So yeah. Hey, what's up, NPark? Do you see Uniden fixing the instant on detection on 1.46? Yeah, sure. I could totally see them doing it. It's just a matter of time. Of course, they always want to test everything and make sure it works well and verify with their engineers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we've been talking to them about that. The, instant on stuff. We've been discussing that. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Blue Moon? For those of you guys needing help with installing firmware or something, usually the best resource for that is go on the forums. I get a ton of tech support questions from Escort and Uniden and Redenso, and I'm not able to answer everybody for the tech support stuff. I like to more test and review stuff. I don't honestly like being customer service as much, but I definitely want to help you out. And so the best resource, usually if you have an issue with installing drivers or how do you update a detector or something, head over to the forums. That's going to be an awesome resource and people can walk you through it. And just like with my videos, I usually prefer doing something where I can do something once. I can make a really in-depth, detailed video, and I can share it with lots of people instead of answering the same questions over and over. And so if you post your questions in the forum, for example, it's similar to my videos to where lots of people can chime in just like you guys are here, or they can take a look. I can link you guys to somebody else who had the same question and you can see all the answers right there. And that's a much more efficient way to discuss this. So if you guys have questions on I'm having trouble installing a driver or the update software, it's being a little wonky, or I'm getting some DLL error or whatever, head over to the forums. You can always contact, of course. Yes, I know sometimes the manufacturers are busy, they're swamped. I see this from different manufacturers. Some manufacturers do have better customer service than others. Head over to the forums. It's usually one of the best resources as far as tech support, and I need help installing drivers and whatnot. That's going to be a good resource for you. So head over there if you guys are wondering about that. Let's see. Uniden R1 always going off to 24.193. Do you have blind spot filtering in your own car? That's kind of weird. It shouldn't necessarily be doing that. I have seen sometimes phones. I had an old iPhone 4S, which would cause X-band falses. I saw it on my V1 and whatnot. So there can be sources of things like that. So depending on what car you're running, let me know. A umlaut U, smiley face, I guess. Is Uniden still the only digital radar detector? No. Escort's been doing them for a while. Stinger, I believe theirs are digital. And digital, it's kind of a misnomer. Escort likes to say DSP, even for their ancient detectors. There was the Escort DSP in like the 1980s. They were advertising digital signal processing. So it's these days being used more of like a marketing thing than legitimately different degrees of digitalness and how much of the flow from the system being received all the way on the processing side, how much is doing digital, how much is still being done on the analog side. So a lot of that really is more marketing stuff. But no, Uniden is not the only digital detector by any means. Yeah, Escort does them, Stinger does them, other manufacturers do too. So yeah, GTI base model. Yeah, your car shouldn't be causing K-band falses. That's weird. Usually they're going to be Acuras or Hondas in that frequency, 24.193, 198, 202, sort of that range. It's usually going to be Hondas and Acuras, but I noticed that you mentioned, you weren't seeing other cars around. So it is kind of weird. Post on the forums. You might have some people who have some other ideas. That's, again, a great resource for you. Let's see. Picked up a DFR7 and it likes the KA. Oh, that is weird. Yeah, it should not be jumping around different frequencies. 34.8, 35.5, 35.7. Maybe that's a, I wonder if that's a false. Like I see that sometimes with Cobra falses or something. That could be happening. I haven't seen that one myself. That's interesting with the DFR7. I don't think I've ever seen that reported. The only thing, maybe if you have the KA filter turned off, you could try turning it on to filter out some of the false alerts that you could see with the filter off. So try that. Joe Smith, have you encountered any laser falses with the R3? I know a lot of people report that. I don't see it myself. I've actually only seen it once. And the time that I saw it was I had my phone actually mounted in a way where what's it called? The phone screen could actually be visible by the detector. And that actually caused false alerts. I've seen it with Escort. I've seen it with Uniden. I've seen it with V1s. I've seen it with a number of detectors. The new phones have a lot of the like facial recognition scanning stuff, IR scanning to sense when you put your phone up to your ear and the screen turns off, and then you take it down and like the screen turns on and that kind of stuff, So there's a lot of sensors and whatnot in there that can trigger false laser alerts in your detector. And so usually the most common source of false laser alerts now these days is people who have a phone on your windshield. And that a lot of times triggers false laser alerts. So keep an eye out for that. That's not always the case. There are sometimes other sources, but that seems to be the most common one. Testing sub $100 detectors, I could do that, or like the cheap ones. I don't like spending too much time reviewing garbage, to be honest. There's so much good stuff that I don't like to spend time reviewing the crap out there. I do from time to time, like was it that cheap Chinese? Oh, story time for you guys. Okay, so those cheap radar detectors? There was one. I did one, the like Meter LLC, that kind of thing. It was like you can buy it online for like 10, 20, 30 bucks or whatever. Garbage detector. It doesn't actually detect laser. They advertise GPS and it doesn't have that. Horrible false alerts, all this crazy stuff. I did a video on that. You guys probably remember a couple months ago. Somebody on YouTube, a big thanks. I don't remember your name off the top of your head, but you mentioned on Facebook, GearBest, the company, they sell really cheap dash cams and stuff. They sell these radar detectors as well. They had used my video and re-edited it and put it to music and everything, making it look like I liked the detector, and we're using it as a Black Friday deal. So they were using me advertising this awful detector to people and then selling them super cheap. And I was like, wow. And so I've reached out to the company. It's funny, the company GearBest, they had on the forums, they tried to be like one of the manufacturers on there. Let's do a giveaway, but they wound up being mainly spammers. And so they really bad customer service when people had issues and whatnot. So they wound up getting banned off of RDF. After that, they would contact me every month or two saying, hey, we want to set up a relationship with you. They want me to like promote them on my channel and set up an affiliate relationship and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, you guys, your customer service is bad. I'm familiar with how you guys operate. No. And anyways, I found one of their videos using my video, completely recut it and re-edit it, changed the entire meaning of what I was trying to put out there and share to sell an awful radar detector to people. And this is the kind of stuff that happens. There's companies that are interested in making money at the expense of your well-being and what's actually a good choice for you. I see so much of this stuff on the internet. I could go on and on about different companies, things I see. I don't like to like trash people on the internet. That's not what I'm about. I'm just saying, here's stuff that works. Here's stuff that doesn't work. Here's my actual take on things. Just here's the facts. Here's the reality. Here's the test results. Here's the capability. Here's the design. Here's the functionality. Like I like to focus on just how well stuff works, more of the engineer's perspective. I'm not trying to get into politics or whatever. I want stuff that works well at the end of the day. That's what I want to run. That's what I want to recommend to you guys. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about stuff that is awesome. I don't want to spend time talking about garbage. And I've done that from time to time with like, hey, let's review Rocky Mountain Radar and whatever. I could test a K40. I want to do that just to see. I've heard good things about their new BSM filtering and they're popular. I'm like, hey, let's give them a shot and see what they're actually like. I've got the Solo S4, the wireless one. It's like, let's try it. Let's see it. Let's test it. Let's run it. Let's see what the interface is like. Yes, the detector hasn't been updated in forever. It's like the same thing as a Solo S2. And then the 3 was the same. And then the 4 is the same. They still don't even have TSR. Like, that's crazy. The detector doesn't even have TSR. Okay, whatever. It's just a new display and stuff. But yeah, so anyway, there is this kind of stuff that happens. I like to just focus on what stuff is good and okay, what is not. So I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's got batteries, the Solo, but some people really want the batteries and apparently they last for a little while. So yeah, let's test it and see and share the results. Simple, So anyway, yeah, I don't like to focus on the garbage as much. I do it from time to time. I find it a little bit of a change of pace, a variety, entertainment factor, but at the end of the day, I want to share awesome stuff with you guys. I want to share the best stuff with you guys. That's what I love. And that's what I want to like give to you guys. So yeah, that's why I don't focus as much on the cheap detectors. I think it could be something interesting to like, let's get some of the cheaper Cobras and Escorts and Unidens and whatever, maybe sub $100 and just do a video on those. And let's just see, instead of just saying they have bad performance and filtering, which is true, let's actually test them and show you guys. That could be an interesting project once I finish everything else that's already on my plate, you know? But yeah, at the end of the day, I like to focus on the better stuff out there, not the bad stuff. So that's why. Anyway, that discussion aside, let's get back to it. Is it worth it to get an original Redline serviced and repaired? If you're happy with the performance, if you run it in K-band only, sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a great performer. Filtering, it doesn't have modern BSN filtering, so if you don't need X and K-band, sure, you can get it repaired. And if it's cheaper than getting a new R3, there you go. Run it with Ka-band only. Awesome. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm in New York. 99% of the radar is KA 34.7. Number one radar detector. By the way, radar detectors are not radars. I've done a video on this. There's radar guns and there's radar detectors. There are no radars. So with laser, I know, yes, we have lasers, but we don't have radars. So just a terminology thing. It gets kind of confusing if it's like, what's the number one radar? I'm like, well, let's look at the radar guns. Let's look at the radar detectors. Usually people mean radar detectors, but just a terminology thing. Number one radar detector for that frequency, I don't know. The Unidens are pretty much across the board, like the R3s and the R1s. They're strong on 33.8, 34.7, 35.5. That's, yeah, the DFR7, the nice thing is it was pretty strong on 34.7, weaker on 33.8 and 35.5. And so if you see a lot of 34.7, you can save some cash by getting the DFR7, which is kind of more focused on your area. That was also a recommendation for California, where it's a lot of 34.7. Similar idea. You don't need K-band, you know? Yeah, the DFR 7, 6, 7, 8, 9 now, they're stronger on 34.7. And so if that's what you're seeing primarily, you can get away with a cheaper detector because it's kind of more tailored to your particular needs. So that's an option. Yeah, more and more K-band, lower power K-band. Yeah, there's MRCD showing up in New York City. So you'll probably want, what's it called? An R-series detector with MRCD capable detection. So yeah, so many little variables and whatnot, but yeah. Let's see, radar guy. Would you still recommend getting the Redenso Pro SE over the Pro M? Not necessarily. The reason is the Pro M, it has a new hardware chip and it has much better BSM filtering. The RPSE has some improvements to the BSM filtering, but it's never going to be able to be as good as the Pro M. The Pro SE, I believe, is being discontinued. The Pro M is kind of the one to go. I mean, you get the better BSM filtering, which is a big deal. It's pretty much the best on the market. Plus, you're going to get yourself a more future-proof detector because it already has the MRCD and MRCT detection. And so if you can swing the Pro M, I would definitely recommend going for that over the Pro SE. Or you could go for the Pro SE, which still has pretty good BSM filtering too, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be at the level of the Pro M just due to differences in hardware. So if you can get the Pro M, I would still recommend the Pro M, even though, yes, it does cost more. So yeah. Jamie, or yeah, I think it's pronounced Jamie, Z33. How long will a Blackview dash cam last on parking mode with the 12-volt cutoff? Really depends. Some batteries have more capacity than others. My Miata has a smaller battery. If you drive a big truck, you're going to have bigger capacity. Colder temperatures, batteries don't last as long. My Miata, I get maybe 12 hours. The DR900S 2-channel, I think it was 12 hours. The DR750S takes less power, so you get longer run times. Depending on where you have the voltage cutoff switches, that can vary. And so it really depends. I've seen people having several days of power. I've seen people who have 12 hours of power. I know there's some cars like BMWs that have weak batteries, and having to get one of those batteries replaced to constantly put it through the strain can be hundreds and like $400-600, something like that, just for the battery. So, you know, maybe it's worth it to get a dedicated battery pack. And I covered kind of some of the stuff in my video I'm going to be releasing this week. It's the best dash cams on the market. And the first big chunk of the video, it's pretty long. It's like 45 minutes long. The first big chunk is going to be dash cams. Then we cover battery packs toward the end. And then there's like a summary of all the best dash cams again. So we do cover some record time stuff on Powermatic Pro, ThinkWare hardwire cables, run times versus a dedicated battery like a CellLink Neo or a Blackview B124. So take a look like towards the end of that video. You'll see some more discussion on run times and your different options and all that. So yeah. Let's see. Decaf music. Considering the difference in price, is it better to get a TMG Alpha 15 with more heads or an ALP with less heads if you're on a fixed budget? The TMGs, yeah, they're a good option if you're on a budget. I have the Dragon Eye in your area. I have more confidence, to be honest, in the ALP as far as what they're doing. So, okay, I guess getting into a little bit more than what I've covered in the videos. ALP, one thing that they do that I really, really like is they spend time actually going out and acquiring the guns to make sure that you stay up to date. TMG is depending on other people supplying their guns, enthusiasts and whatnot. They're not actually going out to obtain the guns. And so if there's changes, they might be kind of behind the curve as far as staying up to date because they're not investing the funds and resources to going out and making sure that they're ahead of the curve, So you are going to pay more for the ALP, but I mean, they've got a bigger track record, a longer track record. I don't know. I just like their approach more than what I'm seeing with the TMG. I think the TMG is an excellent new contender, and we need, more options in the marketplace. And it's awesome that they're actually able to jam the Dragon Eye. And yes, some of their things that they're doing are cool to see. And yes, if you're on a budget, they're a good affordable option. But again, in my opinion, if you're going to be getting laser jammers, it's different than a windshield mount radar detector where you can just take one off and put another one on and great. With laser jammers, I mean, the install is a big part. You have to consider you got to run the cables through your car, potentially drill holes in your car, which when you get a new jammer, it's not easy to swap them out. New controls inside the vehicle, like it's a big deal to swap. And either you have to spend the time doing the install yourself or you have to pay a professional for you. And that's always a consideration, especially with laser jammers, and it's not easy to switch them out. And so in my mind, I think it's worth spending a little bit more for the laser jammer because it's a bigger investment, it's a more involved install, and you also have to consider either the cost or the time for the installation itself and how it's more difficult to swap systems if needed. And so I think the TMG is a great option, but if you can get the ALP, I think it's still the way to go. But if you're really on a tight budget and you want to save some cash by also doing the install yourself, you could take a look at the TMG. It's a good option. You're still going to want 3 heads for the Dragon Eye, just like you will for the ALP. And yes, of course, 3 heads with the TMG is going to be less expensive than the ALP. So if you're on a tight budget, that is one to take a look at. Can you comment on the Escort IX by Richard Carnahan? I did a video about it this week. I've done a review on my website. You can take a look for more information. In short, IX, successor to the 9500 IX. It's going to be discontinued and replaced by the IXC, but it's a popular one. You can get them now at Costco for like $250. Auto lockouts, Bluetooth, decent range, okay BSM filtering. I don't like the alert presentation stuff, which I covered in my video where I talked about it this week, the whole bah stuff with it. So I don't really like, that's probably my biggest concern is the full tilt alerts. Like when you get blind spot falses, the alert presentation isn't that great. The Max detector, you can get like the Max 2 Platinum now. The Max had a really rough launch. That was actually a big part of like when Escort's reputation started to go downhill was the launch of like the Max and the Max 2 and all the issues and claims, and it was rough. You can look history stuff, but the detector's gotten a lot better now. In short, the Max 2, for example, it's like the IX, but it's got better range. It's a digital detector. It's got better BSM filtering and doesn't rely on BSRDR for improved performance and whatnot. Probably one of the biggest things is, yes, it has better BSM filtering. It's much better than what you're going to get with the IX, and you can get it for not that much more than the IX. And so while the Max had a really rough launch, it's a lot better now. And if you're looking for that sort of detector, auto lockouts, no arrows, Escort product, Bluetooth, I would actually get a Max 2 over the IX. And again, the IX is going to be discontinued at some point, so you can find it cheaper now, and it's going to be replaced by the IXC. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the IX. If you want more information, search on my website. I have a written review, and you can find more information there. Hey, April, thanks for the super chat. So I love your content. Great work with keeping us up with the products as well as the specs. Still in the market for getting one myself. Don't know where to start. Are you looking for a radar detector, a laser jammer, a dash cam? I stay in Greenville, South Carolina. Yeah, let me know what you're looking for. Maybe we can get you some kind of like custom information and get you some advice based on where you're driving. Speaking of local stuff, I know on RDF, one thing that I've kind of been pushing for is the RDF-GS, getting the local database of like what bands and what laser guns and what frequencies are used in different areas. Me as my name has the backup up on the forum, the spreadsheet of, it's a little dated now. It's from like a couple years ago. The RDF-GS has been down for a while, but that's been a great resource of knowing what radar guns, what laser guns are used in your area. And I know he's working on getting that back up and at least getting it read-only for now. And then eventually with like the RDF-GS version 2.0, getting it back up to where we can then start to add information again. So that's something that's going to be in progress, but yeah, that's a good resource if you're looking for local information, like I'm in Greenville, what radar guns are used in my area. We can always take a look at that. April, if you search on RDF, like RDFGS backup, you'll find the resource, and I can even go over it with you later. But radar detector with jammers. That's so everything. Yeah, normally that's the kind of stuff like I'll really get into at the private session, but yeah, I mean, take a look at my website. I've got all my top picks as far as radar detectors, dash cameras. Like with dash cams, it depends on if you're looking for only the front, or if you want front and rear, or also if you want parking mode. Stay tuned. The video that I'm going to be releasing probably Monday or Tuesday is going to be like the best dash cams on the market. So that will help answer that. As far as jammers, pretty much the ALP is the way to go. Comment about the RCM. The TMG is going to be, they're relying on their customers. Yes. So from what I find, they're working with enthusiasts who already have the guns to test their products. So they're another kind of, that's how they're getting started. Yeah. So that's kind of one of the differences, but the TMG is a good way to have like a budget jammer. In April. Yeah, best way to chat one-on-one. Usually I do that with private sessions. On my website, if you click and do a private session, you can book one with me, and usually that's what I do with people who want a full-on radar detector and laser jammer and dash cam, and where do I install the jammer in my car, and what detector should I get? And we go over all that custom stuff, usually to really go into detail. That's something that I do with people with private sessions. So, but yeah, a lot of the stuff you can find, of course, free on my website. So my radar detector recommendations, my laser jammers, here they are, but a lot of the custom stuff to go one-on-one, really detailed for where you live and your vehicle and stuff, just go to my website and book a private session. That's the best way to do that. But yeah, as far as the dash cams, video will be coming out this coming week and goes over all that. So yeah, definitely do that. Do you have a shop or a location where we could meet? Well, you're in South Carolina, I'm in Seattle, so that would make it a little bit tough to meet up. So usually do it over the phone and stuff, or yeah. Don't buy the DR900S. Yeah, it's not the dash cam for everybody. I like it. It does have some issues like overheating and higher temperatures. So yeah, in South Carolina, it may not be the best choice. Maybe the DR750S or the Thinkware. The heat resistant stuff, we're seeing that more and more. Like I know there's the new iRoad X9 or something, which is supposed to have better heat tolerant stuff. There's the I've heard good things about the Street Guardians. There's so many options. So that's, I guess, one of the tough things with dash cams. It's like there's so many options out there. Radar detectors, there's fewer options, but dash cams, oh my God, there's so many of them. Yeah. So, man, cool. Okay, well, I think we're good. So I just kind of wanted to chat. Oh, let's see. There's a good one. Travel through Virginia. Can they take my radar detector from me? No, in Virginia, they no longer confiscate radar detectors. The penalty now, even with court costs and everything, it's like less than $100. So they do not confiscate anymore. The only places that I see doing that are like Ontario and stuff up there, or overseas in Europe and stuff. There are places there that they do confiscate, but here in the US, they do not. So yeah, they'll just like write down the serial number of your detector and then give it back. So yeah, cheaper than a ticket. Yeah, but that's the way things are set up. Anchor 2-channel cheap. I've got one, the Rove C1 Pro. I like it mostly. I like the VFO ones better. I think the design is better with the physical buttons as opposed to the touchscreen. The one that I have, it's so tough to get the memory card out of it. So there's a couple maybe usability stuff I don't like as much as some of the other options, but it's cool to see Anchor. I mean, I use a ton of Anchor products. I love their stuff, cables, chargers, batteries. I'm a huge Anchor fan, but when it comes to their dash cams, their initial ones are pretty good. We were actually talking, they reached out to me under their Rove brand. Like, hey, we ideas. They sent me some prototypes and design specs and stuff. And we went over all that kind of stuff. And, I've been testing some of them. Cool. They have an office here in Seattle. But anyway, I like some of their first initial ones. I don't think it's better than what's out there, but I think it's a really strong showing with some of their initial versions of dash cams. Oh, Aki. Okay. Yeah, I haven't tested the Aki ones. They're like a Rove / Anchor competitor. But yeah, there's so many ones. So drinking game. Do you think the R3 will get directional arrows? Anybody's got a beer? Take a drink. I was waiting for that one. Yeah, I have a video on that one. Yes, I'm sure it'll come out at some point. Everybody's always going to release. Yeah, thanks, David. Appreciate it. Everybody's always going to release new detectors at some point. I'm sure everybody's going to do it. It just makes sense, you know, to have a detector with arrows, to have one once the auto lockout patent expires, to add that in. Like we're kind of, everybody's sort of zeroing in on this ultimate detector to have arrows and good BSM filtering and lockouts and Bluetooth while you're at it. You know, there's kind of that sort of formula or recipe. And then it'll come down to like, okay, who has the best interface? Whose BSM filtering is actually the best? You know, whose arrows work the most effectively or are easiest to read or whatever, you know, things like that. All sorts of little details when we get into the nuances, but yeah, that is kind of the formula for it in the meantime. It seems like the ultimate detector. And yeah, now that the patent is expired, it would totally make sense for more and more companies to do detectors with arrows. So yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, anyways, I just wanted to do a quick live stream. I'm going to head out. Basically, just want to spend the day relaxing, taking it easy, and just wanted to check in and say hello to you guys. So, oh, last one. April, ceramic tint. Ceramic is usually fine. It's metallic tint that will affect your radar detector. If you have a ceramic tint in your windshield, you should be okay. I've got a video on my windshield that goes over that as well. Video on my windshield. A video on my channel that talks about windshields goes over that. You can take a look. So, yeah, just search for like windshield tints or Fritz or something, those little dots, and the videos over all that. So awesome. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, great time, and got some fun videos, giveaways coming up this week, best dash cams of the year video coming up. So a bunch of stuff coming. So anyway, thanks so much. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later.